I've often said on the show that you could not really make up the debacle that is, of course, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. While they were members of the British monarchy, obviously they had a, well, expert team around them, advising them as what and when. And then, of course, during this terrible situation over in LA with those terrible fires that are affecting so many people, suddenly this hit their website from the office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Now, what office? I mean, are these people just cosplaying royals? I don't really understand why it's so significant that it has to come from their office. We know their office is their house, her table, where she sat famously to do the 40 times 40. But seemingly once again, without all of the people to advise Meghan Markle, well, it's all, well, tragically backfired just on the eve of yet another comeback. Let me explain. Hi, are you all right? I'm all right, thank you. A little bit chilly today. We'll have a lovely wave. Nice to have your company, whatever you're doing. Yeah, you couldn't make this stuff up, Clearly, when you think about it, there's some good intent here, or so would that be the case. We're talking, of course, about this particular statement and this sort of prevalent line, I think, about reaching out to loved ones and letting them in your home if you can. Well, according to a further statement, apparently Harry and Meghan have let loved ones into their home. Just depends on how you define loved ones, of course. Certainly not her father, Thomas Markle, who clearly could do with some comfort and joy. But no. And the only loved one we can actually find when she's talking about family would be, of course, the mother Doria. Now, the problem that you have with Meghan and Harry is truly this. Nobody really believes them because, we know they play games. We've seen it so many times. So it doesn't necessarily bode well when you put it along, unless there's some visible proof of the people in your house that you've welcomed in, complete strangers apparently. Well, how on earth are we going to believe you? But here's where it gets worse, you see, because obviously by placing it on their very little visited website, the Archwell website, well, why wouldn't you put this on your newly launched 1.5 million followers Instagram account? This would make perfect sense. You see, the bottom line is by putting it out on your Instagram account, you would have had a far bigger reach, particularly with the audience that you're trying to generate for your forthcoming streaming cookery show. You see how this works. But according to sources, apparently Meghan didn't want the conflict from her personal account to that, of course, of the Archwell Foundation. Now, you can understand both sides of the coin. I totally get it, right? But moving forward, this again looks like very bad PR. And more importantly, as I said, following on from the sort of strange debacle of the sad death of her favourite dog, Guy, well, again, that's sketchy and mystery, isn't it? Unless they're really open about these things, nobody will even believe their alleged good deeds. But for now, the resistance to keep it away from Instagram remains at the time of this recording. They're being advised by their team that perhaps they should share this message also. After all, this is a national emergency in their homeland, as it were. So far, Meghan's reached out to a little red magazine over here that's very favourable to them. And that is apparently as far as it's going to go. What you have to believe is that Harry and Meghan had good intent, and I'm not decrying that in any shape or form. But just think how much more they could have reached if they'd have actually used their real mass following, which has literally only been accumulated in the very first few days of 2025. As ever, shrouded in mystery, like so many things, from the desk of Harry and Meghan.